And hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of The Other People's Show. Friday, November 8th, 2024 at 10:18. We're coming in with a very special guest. A regular guest at this point. A friend of mine who needs no introduction, Tyler Payne.
Thanks for having me on again, man. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I think so too. And before we get into tonight's show, please go to all the social media. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The Other People's Show. You want to promote anything real quick?
If you want to check out some really weird ASMR psychedelic gore, go check out Psycho Silico on TikTok.
Definitely. We're going to get into talking about that tonight. That is your most recent project?
It is.
And you were on, when were you on it last?
It was before August?
Yeah, was it? Wow, we were just talking about time right before the show.
Dude, it's weird.
And does it seem really like it's been that long?
Not at all.
I don't think so either.
Like, dude, it really felt like it's only been like a couple weeks, if that.
Yeah. I mean, for example, a couple weeks back, actually back in August, Aaron Lee was on the show, and we did Army of Darkness, and then, like I said, a couple weeks back, August. So what's happened to our lives going by so quickly?
I don't like to think about it. I know that I want to disconnect from social media even more than ever, so I got a new phone to literally just put all social media stuff on, and then I'm just going to hide it from myself. Not allowed to have it.
Now, you can probably, schedule a lot of different things, like schedule events or posts in advance. Do you ever do that at all?
No.
Okay.
Like, if I post it that moment.
Okay.
Like, I don't do the schedule thing.
Yeah, me too. I would, I'll be honest with you. I have lied to people that I've scheduled it.
Just not.
Yeah. I don't, pointless lie. And not to, serve any purpose, really, other than to make it seem like I'm that, productive, I guess.
I guess this is a lie I tell people. I don't mean for it to be a lie, but anytime someone's like, oh, you gotta go watch this movie, I'm adding it to the list. Dude, I never get around to it.
Same.
I never get to watch any movies.
Same.
I did get to watch Poughkeepsie tapes, though.
Oh, yeah?
I loved it.
Okay.
That
Now,
was
you want to say, what's that one really about? I've heard about it.
Okay, so...
But never watched it or anything.
It's, So it's like this guy, he shoots a documentary about this serial killer who has recorded all these tapes, 2,800 hours of tapes. And he lets the police find him. The guy's still running around.
Right.
But this is spoilery territory.
Right.
If I go here. You want me to go here?
Yeah, the whole show, spoiler alerts.
Okay, so in the beginning of it, it shows this woman being pulled out from a grave.
Okay.
At the very end of it, it's dedicated to the girl who was pulled from that grave. So my theory,
Really?
I don't think it's a theory. This is what I believe. I believe that the guy who was shooting the documentary and talking to all the police officers about the case and all that stuff was the guy who shot all the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Now, is this a movie or a documentary?
It's a movie.
Is it based upon...
No, but it looks like it could be.
Really?
It looks good.
I was trying to look and see if this is... I know that I've heard of that, but I've never seen it, though. What's it streaming on?
Tubi.
Yep. Tubi has a lot of good things on there.
Dude, I'm trying to get my film on Tubi.
What's the hold up on it? Have you had any?
A lot. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies, he gave me a website that's kind of like your personal agent. That's not your agent.
Right.
And right now, I have to put closed captions on my movie or pay someone $400 and some bucks to do it.
So you're going to do it?
Oh, I'm going to pay someone to do it because I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I
understand. Since we're talking about your movie, what do you want to tell the people? Now, the last time you were on, you were getting ready to do the release, or you were on talking about the VHS upcoming release.
Yeah, no, here's a Blu-ray. Check it out. Show the people.
Yes, and now here's the Blu-ray right here. Silico Solutions. try not to get a glare. There we go. And I did like I displayed it. It's in my studio, my home studio now.
Nice,
it's
nice.
displayed. And so you sold out of the VHS?
VHS was sold out the moment I got them.
Really?
Yeah.
And I saw you got some really good rave reviews on there. So that was good. What's the most? Have you had like any unexpected feedback from it?
So I had someone come into my live that has never watched my work before.
Okay.
And I was real excited for her to get her copy because that's a completely like outside source.
Virgin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And she got her copy and she got back with me. Those a few things that, she gave a little bit of feedback on, but all in all though, like the BoJack Horseman in me came. I was like, "Oh, this is the worst review I've ever received." But no, it was actually very like endearing.
Okay.
Like it was more motivational, but it was you could definitely tell it was honest, and I was like, "Yo, I needed that."
Right.
I
Right.
like that.
So no one has said they've passed out, thrown up. Has anybody?
Oh yeah, actually, that's positive. That's like
Right.
to me, that's 5 stars.
Right. So you have got those kind of.
Yeah.
Because you were worried if I was going to make it through.
So there's one scene I didn't even think about this. I wasn't even expecting it. Spoilers, but there's the moment where that blue needle, and
Yeah.
and it's like seeping out and all that.
Yeah.
Well, that made one girl like real uncomfortable, and
Really?
real uneasy. Yeah, and she was telling me about it, and I was like, yes.
So you're like, yes, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I want people to be uncomfortable. Yeah. I mean, it's completely based around a bad psychedelic adventure.
Now, where can some of the folks, if they want to check it out, go?
That's got a 10-minute demo on YouTube, but other than that, you have to buy it directly from me in my lives until I can get it streaming on something.
Right.
And
So I would definitely suggest people go on YouTube and check it out. Is it just Silico Solutions? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so just type that in. And I'll put a link later in the show, in the feed right here, so you can click on there. And that's great quality on there. Like, I rewatched it maybe...
Wait, did you get to watch it on the VHS?
I haven't watched... I've got to get another VHS player.
Well, my TV ate mine.
That's why I didn't use the one I had, because I was afraid. Because I have a standalone one.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it's not been used in a long time.
And I'm not reprinting them.
No,
ever.
so I didn't.
Never.
Like, I've not even taken it out. It's still in. I might not take it out, to be honest.
I get that. Mine's been played through in the background of my lives. And it's funny because I can get away with all of that in the background of TikTok on a CRT because it muddies it up real good. So like those real rough scenes, those get to play. And if anyone's paying attention on TikTok, they can kind of catch it.
I'm going to have to pay attention to that. That's
Yeah.
really cool. My TikTok originally was hacked in or something. I can't get back into it. So I started a new one. And I've not really done much with it, but I'm going to try to in the future.
It's probably going to be gone by January.
Someone else said that the other day.
Yeah, the legislation's definitely going to, given. It's going to go through.
So it's gone just in USA or everywhere?
USA.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, something's going to replace it. I'm not too worried about it. And honestly, I didn't think my show was going to last this long.
Now, how long has your show been up and running?
Like 2019?
So that's 5 years. Does it feel like it's been 5 years?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Sometimes I stop and I'm like, it took you 4 years because I wanted to make the movie, I think in like 2020, 2021. But I started putting the effort in, I believe in 2021 for pre-production. Anyway, I look back at that, I was like, it took me way too long to make this film. We got to speed this process up.
Right. Well, see, that's what you've learned from your, like, even while doing it, you knew. So next time you're going to be like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. Not in the product, but in
the thing,
way, way it takes. Just like I told you with my production, it's hit a few speed bumps.
Yeah, hit me with that.
The what's going on?
Yeah, tell me about it a little bit.
I don't know how much I should say.
You don't have to say anything about it. We can just back out of this topic right now.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that.
So what held me up was
I'll say this: I've had a problem. I've had an eating problem. I've don't eat enough.
I had that same problem.
And I've lost like 12 pounds since probably April.
I don't weigh myself. I'm scared to because if I go too low, I panic, and that just makes it worse. And I'm like, well, I'm never gonna eat now.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Really? Do you like? Do you? And if any topic we go to, you want to steer away? We'll just say.
I won't steer away from many
Okay.
things.
So, how many meals do you eat per day?
One.
Me too. Typically. Some days today I'm not eating a meal actually.
So
today.
I've had one. I fried ramen noodles.
Okay.
And then fried an egg, 2 pieces of bacon, and I put them all together
Okay.
in a bowl. So then you stab the yolk, and it just drips all down.
So do you go like? Is that pretty much every day? Just one meal? Do you snack?
If I
throughout
remember.
the day?
Oh, I'll snack all day.
Like what are some things that Tyler Payne snacks on?
A lot of potato chips. More potato chips than I should be eating.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me. I don't
Pringles
know why.
are the best. They're my favorite.
They are the best.
Yeah. Or the Ruffles with the waves.
Okay,
If
so
it's not a wavy chip, I'm not into it. Other than Pringle.
Did you ever try those biscuit and gravy?
No, and I'm not going to.
No, I did once like 10 years ago.
That sounds terrible. I don't want that.
It tasted like it was supposed to, but it was bizarre because it was in chip form. So I never ate it.
No,
again.
don't want it.
Now I did have something. I do have something for Jeremiah and David next week. Occasionally, people will bring things in to try for us to eat.
Yeah.
Anthony Wayne brought in a biscuit with mustard for Sling Blade, the movie Sling Blade. Someone got us to try. I think it was like an Oreo. It was something. It was a Sour Patch Oreo.
Oh no.
That's exactly what that was. Yeah,
That's terrible.
It was awful. So the other day, I purchased a milk chocolate sour candy bar, milk chocolate extra sour candy bar.
How is it sour?
I don't know. I've never opened it. We're gonna try it on the show next week.
It's gonna be gross.
Yes.
I'm excited to see you be disgusted by it.
It's made by the same brand that used to have like the little. Did you ever see like sour candy in like maybe a barrel? So like, I don't know if it was in a barrel, but the logo was like a little barrel, and it said like a toxic waste barrel or something.
I know what you're talking about.
It's by that brand.
I used to stuff G.I. Joes in those and freeze them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite G.I. Joe?
I did. I had a few.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously the ninja ones were always cool. You
Yes.
can't go wrong with
No.
those. But there was the guy. These were the knockoff G.I. Joes, the Coors members.
Okay.
Yeah, like you paid like $3 and got like a pack of 3 or something. I loved them, and they were cheap, so you could like melt them.
Yes.
Blow them up or whatever. Not feel bad about that.
Right.
But like
Only a couple bucks.
yeah. So me and my brother, we'd always get a bunch of them and then like put firecrackers in them and like lift them up, and you had like the rubber band holding them together.
Yes.
Put a firecracker and blow them in two. Sometimes they'd survive it if the rubber band was good.
Really?
Yeah.
No, when I was younger, like G.I. Joe, like G.I. Joes, kids would often take, like arms off of one, put it on the other, legs off of one, put it on the other, put the head of like, Darth, this is Star Wars, but like Darth Vader on the body of, someone else, Cobra Commander or something like that. Now, I never really did it.
Yeah. Because I don't feel like your toy's going to go back together right after that ever.
No. And I was like, I have to pay for these. Because I got allowance when I was younger. So I was like, I have to pay for this. I don't know if I want to take it apart.
Yeah, no. And then I never got the big ones. I never really liked the big ones anyway, like the big G.I. Joes. I just wasn't a fan of those. So
Oh, yeah, the tall ones?
Yeah, I did not like those.
Yeah, no, that to me seemed more like, not that there's anything wrong with it, but like a doll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to carry around a doll.
And they I don't know. I just didn't like those.
No. Like, did you ever hear this thing called Teddy Ruxpin?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so it was like a little bear, and you could put a cassette tape in it.
Oh, wait, yeah.
And it would like talk or something. I mean, it would. Yeah, I think its mouth would. I never had one.
I only know it because of Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it's been on there.
No.
Yeah. So, I don't know what made that. I never wanted one because it seemed to be like you're carrying around like a big doll.
Yeah.
Even though it's a stuffed animal. But yeah. So, what are your plans next for? You were talking about you were trying to get your feature on Tubi. Now, once that gets on Tubi, is that pretty much you're done with any kind of releases for it, any kind of special things for it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So if I can get it to happen before spring, then I'll do it before spring. But other than that, the next project's what I have my eyes on now. That's what I really want to focus on. Like, yeah, I wanna do the book and the novel and tie it all together.
Because you'd mentioned that briefly last time, the book of the novel.
I still want to do that, and that's something I can do while I'm getting the studio built, which is becoming a process.
Yeah. What's the biggest headache?
Septic tank.
Really? I didn't even think of that.
Yep, if you need a septic tank installed, well, good luck.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you have to like get all kinds of ordinances and zoning and stuff?
Pretty much. It's like, so you gotta pay the health department to go through this big process, and then after that, you gotta go find a septic company who's the right fit, who can do it within a timely manner. I found someone.
Is there septic companies local?
Yeah, there's a few. But
really?
Like, I found a guy, and like after kind of weeding through the process, but again, I'm still kind of waiting. Then I got to get up with the other people for actually building the thing. But
Okay.
I won't build it until after I get the septic tank installed,
Right.
because it's got to be on there. Because right now I can still pull out and back out of this.
Okay.
And like if I want to sell this land after I put that septic tank in, that's money in my pocket.
I was going to say that'll make it go up.
Yeah.
Since you've already got it complete.
By a lot.
Yeah. So is that the most did you expect that to be?
Well, here, maybe I lied a little bit. Let's go back. Because getting the land in the first place took me years.
So that was the biggest hurdle.
That was the biggest hurdle.
When did you first see the land and be like, this is the land I want to try to pursue?
When I looked at a few properties within my budget, which was my cash budget.
Right.
And they were nothing. I was like, this is awful. They're on like hill slopes. Like, you can't put a house on this.
Right.
Like, this ain't gonna work. So I decided I need to build credit, and I financed, and that was something I was trying to avoid.
I understand.
Yeah. So now I'm in deeper than I want to be. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay, well, let's just go with the flow and
Right.
figure it out.
Well, I think big things are going to happen. So, you want to talk about your project? You know, what you want your next project to be at all? Or no?
Oh, sure, we can talk about
Okay.
that. So I got like a few things in mind. One of which is a televangelist.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be a fun one, but I won't go into any more details than that because I think I can do that with about a $250 budget.
Okay.
Yeah, and that, when I get the studio built, I think will be one of my first projects there. I can shoot it probably in a whole weekend and just like.
So would
hammer
this
it
be
out.
what a short film?
No, it would be a social
series?
media project.
Okay.
And what I would do is I'll have everything filmed in advance. I'm going to edit everything out, and then I'm going to cut it up into pieces and drip feed it on out.
Okay.
So that way I don't have to be like super hands-on with it.
Right.
And then once it eventually gets enough people and I get to the end of the story
Right.
with it, then I'm going to do a live in what that character becomes.
Okay. And
that's
you already
how
have
I'm
the
gonna wrap it
character
up.
in your mind? Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is a character I've had in my mind for years.
Really? Have
Yeah.
you ever really... Do you ever go into some of your characters when the camera isn't rolling?
All the time.
Okay.
That's how you get to know them.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what...
I thought that you might have, because the characters I've done in the past, you know, I've stepped inside for a while. I mean, they're inside.
Yeah.
But, you know, so what's your process? Is there a process you do when you go into that?
Got to be feeling it. But Halloween, you know, I dressed up as Carol, but off-camera Carol is different than on-camera Carol.
Okay.
A little bit more unhinged. I can be a little bit more,
The off camera.
yeah. Also, I wasn't realizing as I was dropping a treat bag into a bucket saying, oh, I didn't put razor blades in this. That's off-putting. And I
Right.
didn't realize the gravity of that until
Especially
after.
as Carol.
Yes.
So you were handing out candy, and Carol,
Yep.
Carol was handing out candy, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, this one kid brought a Nerf Pew Pew, and I traded him my stage prop Pew Pew for his.
Did you?
I did. He was scared of it.
Was there any kids that were like just frightened of you?
Yes, I chased him around the yard throwing candy at him.
Really?
Yeah.
They were screaming and everything.
Dude, it got loud. I wonder what my neighbors were thinking about that.
Do you eat candy much?
I do.
What would be your favorite or a candy that you like?
Sour Patch Kids.
Same.
Yeah, those are so good.
I like a lot of sour candy. I have to make myself not eat candy.
Well, it's good for dry mouth, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes. My mouth is dry now. I was like, oh, I didn't bring any water.
See, I thought I did bring water.
I brought a different car than I was going to bring. But the water that I had was in the other car. So, oh well. Yeah, I could eat. I do try to do, like, I strive to get through an entire month without candy.
I don't have. I gotta have one like day or 2 days out of the week where I'm just like, let's lay around, eat candy, and watch movies or watch TV.
So, what would be your top candies so Sour Patch Kids?
Sour Patch Kids.
And we'll say candy and then chocolate's separate.
Oh, chocolate's a complete. I don't view that as candy.
No, so we'll just do strictly.
So,
candy.
the little raspberry things? It's got like the little pieces of candy on the gooey candy.
Yes.
Those are great.
Those are good.
Like, I love the crunch to them.
Those are good.
And then the Sweet Tarts ropes.
Sweet Tarts ropes are good.
Oh, those are stupid good.
Now, what are some of you candies like that you do not like?
You know those awful Mary Jane things that people hand out for Halloween?
I'm trying to think.
They're gross. They're in like wax paper and they're like in black and orange wax. That's terrible. That's not candy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
Those
the
are
little
awful.
yeah, they're like orange or black.
All old people candy's gross.
I think so too. Mary Jane, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah. That was the name brand version of it.
Yeah, not a good candy.
Terrible candy.
I mean, that is awful. I like, I'm looking at candies right here. Sour Patch candies on there really well. I do like the, and they're hard to find. They have them, I like the movie theater Sour Jacks. In the shape of there's some Sour Jacks that are shaped like the boy. His name's Jack. And there's some that are shaped like wedges. And the wedges ones, they're decent. They're passable. But the Sour Jack theater candy.
Got different texture.
Yes.
Consistency.
And if you leave Sour Patch Kids, the pack open for a day or two, they taste like the Sour Jack theater candy after a day or two.
So Sour Jacks are just stale Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
I would hate them.
Yes. 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 Because when I was in Long Beach, Terry had some the Sour Jacks out there, but they were open, and I was like, oh man, I won't like these. They're stale. That's it was the Sour Jacks not Sour Jacks, Sour Patch, and I was like, yeah, they're stale. But when I ate them, I was like, these are like the movie theater Sour Jacks. So if you expecting Sour Patch, no. Do you think the Sour Patch Kids taste the same? Do you like the Sour Patch watermelon?
Oh yeah, but totally different candy.
Totally different. And I think the shapes make a difference too. I don't think the wedges taste like the other candy.
The wedges are like thicker, and it changes the consistency completely. There's also more candy in that.
What about Nerds gummy clusters?
Oh, those are great. That's just like a raspberry, but Nerds flavored.
I'm trying to think of some others. I do enjoy when I go to I try to do this when I go to other bigger cities. I always try to find their candy store, like the huge candy store, just to see what they have, because each candy store that I've been into, a big one, usually has at least one or two things that I may not have seen or may not have seen ever.
I like to go to like the fudge shops.
Yes.
That are like, they're not chains, it's just some mom and pop place
Yes.
at some like vacation touristy place, and like I like to try their stuff because it's always a little different.
Yeah,
like
I think
they
so
all
too.
make it with grandma's recipe from like 400 years ago.
And you can actually, they're usually making it in front of you.
Yeah,
Like what they do. Like, I'm not a bit, do you like taffy?
hit or miss.
Same. Like, I don't seek it out.
Yeah.
But if, I'm not, oh, let me have some taffy. But if someone, hey, you want a piece of taffy? Sure. I do enjoy watching them make it on occasion. I think it's rather soothing to just.
What is that?
Is that that? Is that that? Oh. That was just a weird.
It sounds like a fan. Oh, it's a heater.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Makes sense. But yeah, I wonder. It didn't seem like the temperature had dropped in here very much.
Not much,
I
no.
didn't think so. But yeah, I do enjoy, on a couple of reels occasionally. It'll be, like I don't know if you watch reels very much. I don't a lot, but sometimes I'll get into the vortex of just going through.
I doom scroll.
I try not to.
Dude, I just look at stupid BS.
What?
And I don't care about it. And I just scroll through it and I'm mindless and I doom scroll. And I don't stop and then I look up and it's been like 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something in a minute now. Like, I gotta go to work now.
Like I'm supposed to be living a life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I did that for a while with scenic pictures of like national parks. Like I don't know how.
That's better than what I'm doom scrolling.
People that have turned, you'll have to tell me in just a moment. People that have turned, or like it was like people that have turned vans into livable spaces. Because I thought about buying like a van or something and turning it into a space.
I almost did that in 2020.
Really?
Yeah. I was gonna go travel around the U.S. and like do all the things, and then COVID hit because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then when I actually calculated the cost of one of these vans, I was like, oh, yeah, no, why not just buy a house?
Yeah.
Oh, because the housing market's crashed or destroyed, whatever it is.
So right before COVID, I was in contact with Andy Dick again.
Yeah.
And I had written one pilot episode, and we were going to... I was going to fly out. Well, the original plan, COVID changed things because it was before COVID. We were going to drive out and then document the entire thing back because we were like, that's probably going to be crazier than anything we could plan. And then we had set up like 7 stand-up dates for him to do throughout Virginia, starting in, one in Knoxville and then going up to D.C., and then we were going to do one show. We hadn't booked the one in New York, but we were going to go to New York. We were going to film a day up there, and then he was going to take the JFK back. And COVID stopped that. But I had thought about it. At one point, he had called me, and he had suggested that I sell everything and move out there.
No.
And that's exactly what I said.
That's a terrible idea.
I said no, and this is exactly what I said to him. I was on the phone with him. I said, no disrespect, Andy, but I said, I can't risk moving, giving up everything coming out there on a whim with you, of all people.
Something else you got to think about, and like I saw this the other day, and like, other people have said it, but it's been hitting me in the head more. Don't take advice from people that you don't want to be in their current situation.
Yes.
So, like, kind of look at people in their lives and ask yourself, is that someone's life I would like to follow in behind?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how Andy Dick lives his life or nothing, but...
Well, he did hit some rough times after this. And because this was right before COVID. It was right before COVID. Because it was just weird because we would often talk when I would drive. I was dating someone down in this region, so I would drive down here every weekend.
Oh.
It was awful. Awful.
How many hours?
I drove about, I calculated it out, probably 13 hours a weekend, and then to and from work was about, when COVID hit, drive time took less.
Yeah, because there's less people. It's way nicer.
Yeah.
I wished everybody would get back off the road. They're
Yes.
terrible at it.
Because my commute would be usually about an hour, but it would be not bad rush hour, but mid afternoon traffic. But once COVID, it was like no traffic at all.
Dude, when COVID hit, I would my routine was go for a drive, go pick up beer somewhere, come home, get drunk, shoot a new video.
Right.
Edit that video while you're drunk. Get it all together. And recently I shot the ad for my movie. I did that after taking like a few shots of tequila.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is fun. I was just stabbing the doll's face and was like, oh, I got to get drunk more often for this. That's what I used to do.
Right. See, I haven't actually drank anything since probably July.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah, it's been July 6th. And really, for no reason. It just, I just haven't.
I take it away from myself from time to time to remind it, like, you don't have control on me. I drink when I want to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, a lot of people have trouble with that. But yeah.
Well, it's easy to see how, I mean, everything's stressful. You want something to take the edge off.
Yeah.
It's the most easiest thing to slip into.
Mm-hmm. Without even meaning to.
Yeah. Like when you're first doing it makes you so happy. You get so, like, motivated, energetic.
Yep. And you're like, I want to be like this all the time.
And then when you start doing that all the time, it starts taking it away more.
Yep.
And then you start getting worse off. It tricks you.
It just starts taking things from you.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But yeah, COVID was that we were talking right before the show. Like 2019, we're coming up on 2025. I mean that's
weird.
Less than 2 months away.
Yeah, it's odd, ain't it?
Half a decade has occurred since 2019, and
right.
And you were talking about, when it was 2019. Now I'm not saying a year specifically, but I'm sure you probably looked into the future some or thought about the future some. Is it anything like you thought it might be 5 years ago?
Nope.
Me either.
So, like, if COVID didn't happen, my movie never would have been made. I probably never would have gotten that job at some AAA game studio because COVID made that a possibility from all the work at home stuff.
Okay.
So I was able to work from home, and then I don't know. COVID was actually a little bit of a blessing in disguise for me. Sorry for everybody that it's not a blessing for. I get it. It was bad. I'm being optimistic.
I got to be honest with you as well. COVID got me doing the show again.
Nice.
Because my friend Jake, we did the Midnight Mutants in D.C., and then before that we did it in Kentucky. And he was like, hey, you want to start doing some Zoom shows? And I was reluctant at first because I hadn't done a show in a while, but I was like, what else are we doing?
Yeah, right.
And I rented, I wasn't sure how long I was going to stay up in D.C. this past time, so I just rented the bottom of virtually a mansion. I just rented the bottom floor. But I had no furniture. I had an air mattress, my laptop, Xbox 360, desktop.
That feels liminal.
That was it.
Nice.
That was it. And I would often watch DVDs too. So each week when I would come back, I would trade out a few DVDs that I had down here, and then before they shut down Mr. K's, I would go to Mr. K's all the time. They would have like DVDs, CDs, records, even cassettes, VHS, books, and they would have 4 for $20, 5 for $20. And you could trade them in too. So I would do that a lot. But if it hadn't been for COVID, we were doing on Zoom, we were doing the Other People's Show on Tuesdays, and then the Real Talk, but it was called On the Movies. Jake had suggested, hey, how about we do a movie show? I was like, okay. So he was kind of the host of the movie show, and I just, was kind of the co-host of it. So when we stopped doing that, when he moved to Nashville, he started doing some other things and was unable to do it. So I just changed to Real Talk, started doing it as a podcast, and now doing it on the radio and podcast. So once, like Tyler said, sorry to anybody during COVID that, suffered, but in many ways it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, like it has its ups and downs. Everything does. And if you
Yeah.
only focus on the bad all the time, then, well, you live a miserable life, and I'm sorry.
Well, I started being miserable because the Other People's Show was supposed to start back at WMMT March 7th of 2020. And the COVID, was right before, right around that time, so it shut it down. So, and then we started doing the Zoom shows, I guess, probably May, I'd say. Not May, but I can't remember. Probably around that time. I'd have to go back and look. So, yeah, everything does have its ups and downs. Can you think of anything right off where initially it would have been a really big down, but you were able just to turn it around and make it work for you?
So, I was doing the census. That was my main source of income there for a minute. And literally the day that I got the news that they were going to go ahead and call it and cut it.
Yeah.
So COVID didn't take a job or anything from me. I was working the whole time.
Right. Me too.
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
was always staying busy. I was going to people's doors and knocking on it and being like, hi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People getting mad at me.
Did you have your mask on and stuff?
Sometimes.
I mean, were you okay?
So we were supposed to.
Right. That's what I meant.
I'd wear a mask. I wore a mask to one person's house. And they pretty much threatened me with violence. And I was like, dude, I can take it off. It's not that big of a deal. Then the next house I went to, which was just a few doors down, I was like, I don't want that interaction again, so I'm not wearing it. She yelled at me for not having a mask. I'm like, you can't win for losing.
No.
So you know what? If I'm in the mood to wear a mask, then I'll wear the mask.
Right.
But the moment I'm tired of it, I'm taking it off.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Who am I going to get sick? Someone who's going to threaten me with violence? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I didn't wear it all the time. I mean, I worked in a radio station at the time. So, and I worked the early shift. So I had to be there at 4:30 in the morning. So I was the only one in the studio until 9 a.m. So that was fine.
Yeah.
I did weather, traffic. I did all that. I could just record that myself and send it on. And then the other host didn't come in until 9. And then we were instructed to social distance.
Yeah.
But there was only four people that came in to the studio. Station when I was there, so
I get
nobody
that.
really did it. Now, when the big general manager came around, we had our mask on.
Yeah. You got to look the part now.
And then if we had to take a few photos for the Facebook page, we had the mask on. But
At that point, why even take the photo?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Exactly. I didn't like going out up there with the panic. Now, it was a little different down here because I came down here every week. Up there, I would encounter, just like you stated, put the effing mask on, this. Most people wanted it.
Yeah.
I didn't really encounter it too much here when I was in. Now, sometimes I would. No, I didn't personally, but sometimes I would hear about it, but it didn't seem to be as prevalent.
Yeah.
Or shunned. You're not shunned.
You was shunned for wearing it. It felt like more so.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah.
I remember one time, panic sets in for a lot of people. Toilet paper's going off the shelf, no water, hamburger meat's gone for some reason.
I was doing get 5 different packs of steak for $20. That was my main thing.
I remember that kind of a deal.
Yeah, I would do that a lot. But what was I going to mention? I took it real seriously at first.
Same.
And then within a couple weeks' time, I'd realized I'd already caught it because I was bar hopping during that time. So
didn't originally we were going to meet up at the inn one time during COVID.
Yeah. So
and we didn't because were you sick? Or did we just decide to cancel? Or did they close it down?
I think it got closed down.
There was
because
a
it never
reason.
reopened.
Okay.
After that hit, it was gone.
Because I used to go up there on a semi-regular basis.
I did too. So 2019, at the end of August, is when I started bar hopping regularly. Then around January, I caught it. And then I was still going to work and doing the things.
Did it knock you down? Knock you out real bad?
Nah, not horrible. I lost my voice, and like
Okay.
it was like,
But you still continued on.
yeah, I was substitute teaching too, so
What grades
not
did
good.
you substitute?
That was my last run of it. I was doing middle school, so 5th through 8th.
Have you done every age?
Yes,
Really? What's been the best one? You
high
think?
school's the easiest.
I mean,
Yep, they
I-
listen to you better.
I substitute with high school.
That's the only jobs I would take. Middle school I
Same.
would take if it was a teacher that I'd like knew or grew up with. I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'll help you out. But like primary school,
I never took
No.
one. They tried to get me. They offered me a primary gym,
worst one.
and I was like, I can't. I don't know how to control little kids.
So I done a gym class in a primary school. That one was terrible. They get hurt. It's
Yeah.
so that was fun. And then I did an English class.
Oh, little kids English.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And was it was awful.
Really.
I don't have words for it. Nothing I can say on the radio.
Right. Yeah, I only did high school, and I only subbed at one school, and it was always cool. And I didn't want to. I knew I was like middle school. I could probably handle little kids. Ugh, I don't know.
No.
So I never did.
I won't do it now.
Okay.
Like it's something I won't do now. I'd like to do college though, because
I
I
think-
love teaching. It was fun. It was the most rewarding job I ever had.
I thought it was pretty fun too.
Yeah, I would deviate off the lesson plan all the time and talk about like quantum immortality with these high school kids and like talk to them about like wild thought experiments and theories and just be like, this is more engaging than you reading a civics book. You ain't paying
Yes.
attention to. And
And-
y'all are all cheating off each other anyway.
Well,
Come on.
when I went, they had a lot of them had the like a tablet
yeah,
or something.
a Chromebook.
Chromebook, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And a lot were listening to like earbuds and stuff.
Yep.
Like had earbuds in.
Dude, I played my Switch most of the time.
Did
Sitting
you?
there playing Zelda all day.
No, they did have a few assignments, but I would always play music while they're doing assignments. But I'd let them choose between, like it wasn't like it was just like mood music. You know what I mean?
I get that. We had one substitute teacher when I was in high school. He would play like classic rock.
Yeah.
And that was very divisive. I liked it.
Yeah.
Of course I liked it, but it was very divisive for a bunch of other people, so I already knew in advance we ain't bringing music in here.
Right.
So for the most part, I would go up, give my lesson plan. If it was a class that seemed like more energetic than usual, then I'd hang out and talk and kind of like be more hands-on with
Yeah.
everything. But if it was a class that just kind of didn't seem into it, all right, I'm going to sit here and play Zelda.
Right.
You
Just sit there and do whatever.
you do your thing. You fail, it's on you. It ain't on me.
Right.
Like I'm a teacher for hire. Like I'm out. Like
Yep.
this does not affect me. I
Nope.
get paid all the same. It's up to you.
Yep. Well, one time, speaking of, one time I was in, Aaron Lee was in my grade, and I think we were in 11th grade. And our English teacher, he was pretty young. I didn't realize at the time, I mean, I knew that he was young then, but now looking back, we were like 16, 17, he was like 22. So he was like right out of college.
Yeah.
And so this was his first teaching job, and Aaron Lee brought in a No Doubt CD, but it was before No Doubt was popular.
Yeah.
No one wanted to listen to it.
No,
No one wanted to listen to it,
because if it's okay, so
which we did, but
because he made you.
and I did like it. I remember liking it, but I did like a girl at the time that resembled. I was gonna say young Gwen Stefani, but she was young then. But even younger Gwen Stefani because I was younger. But she would wear like leather pants to school. Like she got sent home one time.
That sounds like a keeper.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be like a high school sweetheart.
Yeah, and yeah. She ended up later in life, getting sent to like a boarding school. So yeah, I should have hung on to her.
Shame. Oh well.
But I do think she became a teacher,
Oh, okay.
a college professor, and an author.
I thought that was gonna go down a completely different rabbit hole. I was like, oh, and that's when the drugs kick in.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, good.
I mean, I didn't for a good portion. Well, I would have to say the most of the portion of our lives. There's not been in our life because mine and her, like me knowing her, pretty much ceased at the end of high school.
When she went to boarding school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what year was that?
Let's see. The last time I saw her was probably in the year 1990.
Okay, that's all I needed was 1990 anything.
Yeah.
You didn't have internet,
Yeah.
really, especially around here.
No, I did have dial-up, but it was
That's not
slow.
internet.
It was. No, it wasn't.
That's not internet.
It was-
You're lucky to get a Google search off
Yes.
with that.
I remember, no joke. I remember one of the first things. I went to my friend's house in Norton. His name was Ernie. And his parents were gone. Well, we went down there for some reason, but his parents were gone. And it was the first time we'd ever looked up, a naked girl online. It was Carmen Electra. And it took so long for the picture to be full screen.
Oh, that wait was worth it, wasn't it?
I mean, it took a good 40 minutes. It seemed like.
the
Because I remember we were looking to see if his mom or dad were going to be.
For one picture.
Yeah. I still remember the picture vividly in my mind.
So, did you see the thing? Speaking of that, did you see where Elon sent a bunch of Starlinks down to some Amazon tribe or something I don't know if Elon did. Someone hooked the Amazon tribe up with Starlink, so now they have access to the internet.
I think I read something about it.
Yeah, you know what they mostly do? Look up pornographic images all day. And they're not as productive anymore. They're mostly looking down. Dude, that little box is hypnotizing.
Yes.
That's why I want to get rid of all the social media on the one that I carry, so that way I can have one just tucked away so I'm not hypnotized 24 hours a day.
Now, how much does the phone or the internet hypnotize you? Is it mainly with your phone?
So I make a very conscious effort of it. So I have about, my view time hits between 6 to 4 hours a day, or 4 to 6 hours a day.
Okay.
So I used to have it down to about 3 hours, but that's not lasted long. TikTok started to love me again and started feeding my stuff out, and I'm like, oh, okay, and that got me scrolling again. And I'm like,
Now, is there a certain time of day that it catches you more than the others, or just
Night.
random time? Nighttime?
Night. If I'm, because that's when I get done with all my main things. Because throughout the day, I don't pull my phone out very often.
Right.
But the moment I'm sitting down, get ready to go to bed.
Idle time.
Yeah, instead of playing a video game, which is what I usually love to do, now I'm just doom scrolling. That just feels like such a waste.
Yeah.
Because I could be cussing out Call of Duty.
True.
I did get Black Ops 6, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
When did that come out?
The 25th, the day I was supposed to do my event and canceled. Yeah.
Now, what out of all the events? This is jumping back to Psycho Silico. You, what's the furthest you had went? Was it Maine?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay.
Yeah. Providence.
And how was that the first time you've been there?
Yeah.
The only time you've been there?
Only time I've been there.
What
I
did
had
you
no business up there. Other than that.
Now, did you fly up there?
I did.
Okay, I thought you did. How long of a flight was that?
4 hours. Not bad.
Did you just rent a vehicle while you're up there?
No, people from PVD Horror, they picked me up.
Oh, really? So
And-
they chauffeured you in?
Yeah, but they were also really busy that day, so they kind of just dropped me off at the bar, and I had my Steam Deck, so I just played video games, and then I got real anxious, and then there was this, weird warehousey thing, right next door to this brewery, the bar that we were showing it at. Dude, I just talked on the phone and just walked up and down steps for hours.
Really?
Hours.
So you pretty much stayed in the same area through most of the...
Yeah, because I knew if I walked out too far, for one, you can't bring with you on a plane, so, there's my...
Right, protection.
Yeah, that's gone.
What was it in the city?
Uh-huh.
Providence?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I don't want to drive in that. Alright, so I already got road rage. The way people drive like they're brain dead up there. I got, no sense of how close they are. Dude, when people park, there's, no gap.
Nothing.
They might as well be touching.
Maryland was bad, too.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
And dude, if I ever lived in the city, I would get me like a beater car,
Yeah.
and I would never invest in a nice car.
No.
I'd just get a beater and be like, all right, here's my like $800 Matilda car.
Well, when I first moved up to DC, I wasn't up there. I mean, I went to visit my girlfriend, pretty often, once a month, I guess, for about a year. But when I first moved there, like a rock, out of all things, a rock out of the back of it wasn't a coal truck, but a truck, kind of a dump truck, I guess, hit the pavement and smashed right into my window, right in the middle, left it like a place like that. I'd had the car like 2 years. Not a scratch on it. I mean, I'm sure there was a scratch, but nothing like
Major,
that.
yeah.
And I'm like, it was on my way home from work one day. But the traffic, I used to like the city more when I was younger.
Same.
I really did, and I thought that's where I would belong and thrive the most.
Same, until I went to Seattle for 2 months and was like, this is miserable.
It's not.
I hate it.
It's not. What did you hate the most?
Public transit.
Okay.
Hated it. Bus, just...
Do they have a metro there?
They have a light link.
Okay.
And...
Because I've only been to Seattle. I used to live in Washington State as well.
Dude, I like Washington State.
Me too.
Like,
but I only
cool
went
place.
to Seattle like twice when I was a little kid. So we took the ferry we lived on a little island. So
That's
we
cool.
took the ferry.
Dude, okay, another thing was like... So again, I'm in a city where I don't have any personal protection on me because I can't bring it with me on a plane.
Right.
So I did explore Seattle quite a bit without personal protection. And what made me quit doing that was when a homeless guy attacked one of my students because I was up there on a job.
Okay.
And they started getting real violently aggressive with one of my students. And
Really?
like, this guy's like 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall guy.
Right.
And he's real like stout.
Right.
And I had to get between this guy and this kid who was probably like 13.
Oh, jeez.
And my brain, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, the bus lane's right there. There is a bus coming. I have one shot. If he makes a move, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But I just locked eyes with him, made my class go and catch up with the other class, and just kind of sat there. And I didn't take my eyes off
So
of
it
him.
kind of de-escalated the situation.
Yeah, I was going to push him into that bus lane.
Yeah. Homeless
What else are you supposed to do?
A final destination is but.
I didn't want that kid getting got. I would have
No.
felt terrible.
Homeless people are, I do have sympathy, so we're not putting that out there, but some are scary.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Well, it's mental illness is what a lot of it stems from mental illness and a lack of
Funding.
any way to help take care of that because like there's housing programs. Like I have friends who have like lost it all. And within a week, they're within a housing program where the government's like, okay, we got your first 6 months of rent paid.
Right.
Like, you're not homeless no more.
Right.
But, like, I also have friends who have schizophrenia. Well, used to have friends that had schizophrenia. And they liked it. They preferred being on the street.
Really?
Yeah, their view. And, like, I would ask them, like, so tell me about it. And, like, so I ain't got no bills. I don't have to have a job. I get a Social Security check. I can have any substance I want at any time I want. I can lay around zooted for days, having the time of my life.
Just being, quote, free.
Yeah, but like, that free don't look too good.
No.
Like, it don't look comfortable.
No.
And then, like, during the wintertime, this guy would tell me he would go into laundromats, find any door that was unlocked. Like, okay, there was a storage unit place, and it had a little glass box, and he said it had heat in there. And there was no one in there. It was just, like, the gate where you put the code in. It was
Right.
just a little gatehouse. He would sleep in that.
Really?
Until they caught him. And then he told me after that he would steal cough syrup from Walmart, a lot of it, until he got banned. And he would drink that to the point to where he didn't feel cold anymore, and he would just be robo-tripping
The rest
all...
of it.
Dude,
Wow.
yeah. So...
I don't...
Yeah.
My friend, she lives in Slab City, California.
Oh,
so, have you heard of Slab City?
Is that the place where it's like anarchy?
Yeah.
Like complete, like trade goods and services based
No,
off of.
no rules,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, the police do come there, but it's lawless for the most part.
So what's that like?
Now, she lives out there, and Terry, I do envy Terry's fearlessness because Terry has epilepsy. She's been in around 23 accidents, has never ever gotten hurt, and continues to keep doing whatever she wants. She doesn't let it stop her from living.
That's awesome.
She would drive from here to D.C. I dated her for a while, all the time, and she would, come back. I'd come back, or she'd come back, have a dent in her car. She's, ran it. She had like her epileptic seizures. I only saw one terrible one, but they would usually last like 10 or 15 seconds, where she would be doing something and just kind of just like stop and not be able to function. But she said she could still hear you, but she couldn't react.
Yeah.
And I'd seen it happen a couple times when driving, and that's how she told me she had it. Because she started to veer off into another car, and I was like, her name was Terry, and I was like, Terry! She was starting to run into it. She had a Mustang, so she started to almost run into another car. But I didn't know that she had epilepsy at the time.
Guys, keep this in mind that that's what you're driving on the road with.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Oh God.
So from that point forward, she never did drive again when we were going somewhere together.
Yeah.
And I didn't like her driving, but I say that to say that she's in Slab City, and she got there because she was in an abusive relationship. She'd called the police on her husband. He'd got arrested, and she just got in her vehicle and just kept driving south until her vehicle just stopped, and the closest place was Slab City.
That is wild.
And that's where
Get her on the show.
Yeah. She's been on the show in the past. I need
Get her
to get
on
her
now.
Yeah, I will. I'll get her on. I'll get her on next time you're on. I'll line it up. And she traded one time. I forgot exactly. Oh, her dad sends her some money, so she traded some I forget how many, maybe 30 gallons of water for a boat. And because she sent me a video, I actually posted it on the Other People Show YouTube page of her just dragging a boat across the desert in Slab City.
Well, you could live in the boat.
Yeah.
So I actually thought about finding an old train car, like a passenger car.
Yeah.
And living in that.
Well, she's traded now. She lives in 2 RVs that she's pretty much made the way she's wanted to. She's got like a little fence outside, her little desert garden.
I want to go to Slab City.
Now, one person there in Slab City does have an indoor shower.
Yeah.
But a lot of them bathe in this huge lake that's usually 95 degrees. Like, she showed me the temperature. It's
That's
really
awesome.
hot there most of the time. And she said usually the snowbirds will come down in the winter. And she said, she was like, she suggested I come there in the fall or the winter. But she said in the summer you go there and it's like, maybe a couple hundred people. In the winter, a couple thousand people.
Interesting.
And there's she sent me videos. She started doing a show out there. And she's like, if you ever come out here, we'll do some, shows. Because she's really good she's really, has a good personality for radio.
Yeah.
And her name on the show is Psycho Stalker Terry. That was her name on the show.
I like the name.
Yeah. Well, she used, before her and I started going out, I used to work at the Coburn Movie Theater. And I was the manager down there. And she would I would see her outside. I mean, she would come in and talk. But she ended up quitting her job just because she wanted to hang out so much. She worked at Sykes. And then she said one day she just walked out, didn't go back. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, she went back in, answered a call, went back to her desk, answered a call. And then I guess the boss was called her to the office and said, "You're fired." So she got her stuff and left.
Wow.
But she never cared about stuff like that.
Well, Sykes is a terrible job anyway. I walked out on them too.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've never worked there.
It don't.
What did they do? What do they do?
It's just mentally draining. It's a waste of my talent, is how I felt.
Is it always on the call, doing?
Oh, I wasn't one of those people. I was WFO.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't think I could do. Were you in a cubicle?
No, I was the person who enforced time. So I made sure you didn't steal time.
Oh.
So if it was someone who came in late all the time and had
Yeah.
like higher ups coming down on me to come down on them,
Right.
I was that person.
Oh.
And I didn't like being that person.
No.
So I was like, well, I don't like this job because I'm just wasting my day staring at this screen and saying, oh, well, you spent 5 minutes at the water cooler. I'd let people steal all the time they
That
wanted.
was your main job? That was the job?
That was the job. Well, there was more to it. I had to make people's schedules and make the schedules and send those out and like... So there's moments when this is the danger moments. I would work Sundays, and like not all those places are open on Sundays.
Right.
But I was at one that was, and I was the only WFO person there on Sunday. So if we had a low call volume, but there was a lot of people that on the floor, I had to start sending people home.
Oh.
But once you send those people home, you don't get them back. So
Right.
if you get a high call volume,
Then what's stuck there is stuck there.
yep. And then you might be staying extra late that day.
Ooh.
So I wasn't terrible at balancing it because I would always stay overstaffed. And like people would get a little mad at me for it, like our productivity cost was. I was like, you know what, you can afford it.
Right.
I wanted to go home at a decent hour, so you know.
So how long, like what's the latest you had to end up staying ever? Can you recall?
Probably like 11,
When would you normally get off? Like 9 or something?
like 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
Don't.
I mentally, I don't think I could. Certain job, like any job, I feel like I could probably do if it's a job.
Call centers are terrible.
But
Don't do a call
mentally,
center.
very few I can do.
Well, I was already in like one of my worst places when I was at that job.
Yeah.
So like that just added insult to injury, and I just kind of said, "Yeah, no." And also my coworker, she was like, "Dude, you're too smart for this place. Get out of here."
Right.
And
How
like
long were you there?
3 months.
Okay.
I took her advice.
Okay. You didn't stay long. Okay.
No, I did not. I got out of there the moment I saw an opening. I was like, nope. And then I went back to Seattle for a week. And then I was like, all right. All right. Now let's get through this 1 week of hell, and then we
Right.
can get back out.
What when you're in some of your dark periods?
Most
It's-
artistic.
Oh, me too.
That's the best times to write.
Me too.
And like right now, okay, so I have the seasonal depression thing.
Same.
It's hitting me hard this go around.
To be honest with you, and I'm 100% glad that we did the show. But the seasonal depression in me wanted to cancel it.
I get that.
And it wasn't because of you.
No,
Nothing to do
I
with
would
you.
take it so personal.
But I wasn't going to because I like talking to you and I didn't want to let the audience down. But it's people that don't have it, it's a constant fight.
Dude, like I won't drink as much because of it.
Right.
I'll try to get my sleep schedule like on some kind of better pattern than like waking up or going to bed at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll actually try to go to bed by about 2 so I can wake up a little earlier so I can have more sunlight hours.
Yeah.
But a lot of like just in general I just feel weird. I feel off. Like something ain't clicking, something ain't right. And I don't know, like it's just overall a weird thing. Like I like nightlife. I like roaming around at night. It's fun. I'm night people. I
Right.
don't go to bed. So like why does this hit in such a weird way?
Same. I'm a night person. I prefer the nighttime.
Yeah.
I feel exactly the same. Like, has it always hit you? Have you always had it?
Yep.
The seasonal? Me too.
I've noticed a pattern with it recently, and I've started like really like looking at it. So back in 2020, it didn't hit me as hard. 2021, kind of not too bad. 2022 hit me real hard. 2023 hit me real hard. This year hit real hard too, and I'm like, okay. It just kills all my mood. My productivity's down. I don't want to do nothing. I don't feel like doing nothing. I don't like going live like very often anymore. It's just.
Do you think that's the seasonal depression is partly why you've been doing the doom scrolling?
Yeah, probably. So I try to keep eyes out on like new video game coming out. Like, all right, well, when I get tired of Call of Duty, what am I going to get next?
Right.
Like, we gotta stay into something. I tried to get back into Fallout 76. Dude, I love the area that it's in, where it takes place, but like, why did it have to be so focused around crafting. I hate that. Just takes it away. Anyway.
So so playing, getting into some of these games and stuff, that really helps the depression.
Oh yeah. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I can see that. I was really, this is an older game, but I really liked. I played Hitman Absolution quite a bit. I thought that was a pretty cool game.
Oh, Hitman's fun.
Because I never had played it before, and my friend had given me. This was about, I don't know, 10 years, probably 10 or 12 years ago. Given me his Xbox 360 because he didn't like Xbox, and he was like, if you want it. So Hitman Absolution was like one of the free games. And I started playing that, and I was like, this is actually really fun. But I would only give myself set amount of hours that I would play. Like I would only play, like when my friend Shelly would come up, we would play. She would usually come over twice a week, so we would usually play 2 hours. Maybe not Hitman. It could be whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Maybe the Evil Within. We played that one.
I never played that one. I knew it was like same director as Resident Evil 4, and I love Resident Evil 4.
I've never played it, but I've seen gameplay of it. But Evil Within, I thought it was real cool. Yeah. I really liked it. And then I played only one of the Silent Hill ones, Silent Hill Downpour.
I don't think that's a good one.
It got bad reviews. That's the only one I've ever played.
See, I never played like a lot of this. I was more Resident Evil than Silent Hill, but the Silent Hill 2 remakes got my attention.
Really?
Like, that looks good. Okay. And I want to... So another side project that I'm thinking about delving into is doing Twitch streams.
Okay.
And like, it would probably be meshed with Psycho Silico in some way. And get real scandalously clad clothes on with a doll's face,
right?
And then, based off how many times I lose on something, we'll take out some frustration on a Deborah, and we'll just let it become a bloody mess on camera.
Bloody good time.
Yeah. So, I'll pick some kind of violent video game, and every time it'll get me. Like, let's say if we did Hotline Miami, because that's one you're expected to die, or Dark Souls.
Okay.
Then
I played Dark Souls.
Dude, it's one of my favorites.
I played Dark Souls.
That
was a lot of fun.
So I wouldn't play Dark Souls because I was always told it was like a rage bait kind of game. I'm like, no, I don't want to play a game. It's just going to make me mad.
Right.
I bought Bloodborne, not knowing that was a Souls game, and loved it. Made it to the 4th boss without dying. I was like, this is the hardest Souls game? No, I love this. And that's what got me into all of them after that. They tricked me.
What was been one of the first games that you can remember playing that you're like, I really, really liked it? Do you remember the first game that you played?
It would probably be Mario, but the one that captivated me on another level was Zelda 2. The gold NES cartridge.
Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah, we had a real, water-damaged copy.
Really?
And, the gold was flaked off. It was, black and gold.
Yeah.
The sticker was peeled halfway off of it, and, all you could see was, a sword. You couldn't even see, The Adventures of Link. That was gone. It just said Zelda 2. That's all I could see.
But it played. No, did you have to?
No, it did not play.
Oh, it didn't play.
No, I wanted to play it because we had this whole tote box filled with the NES games and Super NES games, and I was like, I gotta play these. I want to try that one. That gold one's reaching out to me. That's the one. And Dad, he took it apart and changed the battery because it could save. It had a save feature, so he took the watch battery, which was corroded, took it out, put a new one in, cleaned it up with I think peroxide and lemon juice.
Yeah.
And cleaned it up real good on the inside, got the circuit board wiped out, and then put it back together. And after blowing it to death, it would play.
Really?
Yeah. And then
that's a cool story.
Well, I fell in love with it. It was the hardest game I'd ever played.
It is hard.
Dude, I play it with save states. I'm actually playing through it again.
I've never beat the game.
Save state.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't fight Ganon in that one. You fight Dark Link at the end. And that last dungeon without save states is BS. I don't think the game was meant to be beat.
Probably not.
Yeah, a lot of those NES games, they weren't finished.
Have you ever heard of a game called Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden?
Yep.
Have you played that one before?
Not the old one.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's known for it.
Hard. I've never beat it. Now my roommate, we had a lot of he would sometimes just play a lot of these games, and he would beat it, but he would be hours upon hours because a lot of the time there weren't. I think he would only get. He didn't use cheat codes, and so you would only have maybe I don't know how many continues, maybe 3. I can't recall. So that might be 9 lives.
Yeah.
And you would have to start, like, I can't remember. It had something weird. Like, you wouldn't start off on the level you died on. It was like the one before. It was something odd.
Well, that's just
It made it way more frustrating. Like, I got so mad, I just couldn't play it anymore.
So the trick with Zelda 2 is to find the 1-ups, because you can find extra lives throughout, like, the map.
Okay.
But they're in, like, little hidden squares. But I just recently found one that just made me think of that. But when you died, it would take you all the way back to the beginning. And, dude, it sucks trying to go all the way through that. But save states.
Okay.
Emulation with save states makes it enjoyable.
So you're going through Zelda 2 right now?
It's kind of my, like, I'm getting ready to go to bed game.
Right.
Because, like, if I die, I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Turn it off, throw it down.
Do you have a... So is that the last thing you do as a game, or do you? Because I know a couple times ago you were talking about these frequencies you listen to sometimes.
Oh yeah, I still
you listen
do that.
to those as you drift off.
That's when I'm actually like trying to go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the whole process. You got to wind down. You got to start like easing off, turning off more lights, killing off the computer, the TV, and then you start switching to only handheld device, and then you turn the phone off. That's the worst one. Is the phone.
Because it's so prominent.
Yeah.
It's so easy, accessible. Do you have a... I've been watching... I've been going between... I watch a lot of horror movies when I'm drifting off.
See, I think that's weird. I really think that's weird because it's for me, like, if a horror movie is to be tense and to, like, make you uncomfortable.
True. I that is 100% true. And I hadn't thought of it in that regard, even though... I don't know why I didn't.
You're not the only person who does this. This is a common thing.
Yeah, it is.
My girlfriend does this.
See, I find that a lot of horror movies, the ones that I like, they're for the most part they're quiet. You know what I mean? They're for the most part pretty quiet. Like last night, I was rewatching Longlegs. I was kind of drifting off.
That's a good one. That's a good. That's like a. That would
Have
be
you
a
watched
good
that one?
It is. I did. Yeah.
It is a good one.
That's a good one for sleep, I think.
Because that one's really quiet for the most part. There's a few outbreaks, you know, when he says stuff, but for the most part, did you ever hear some of the promotion that he did for Longlegs?
No.
Okay, so there was a billboard that went up, in California.
See, I didn't even know Nicolas Cage was in that movie until I was sitting in the theater and it
Really?
popped up, and I was
then
like,
it said
"Whoa!"
his name. Really? Well,
Yeah.
see, they had wanted to keep his. They didn't show him in any of the promotional things, and there was a big billboard in California. It had like a blurry, very blurry picture of his character, but it was so blurry you wouldn't have known it was him. And it had a phone number, an 800 phone number, and when you call that 1-800 phone number, it had a very disturbing.
Happy birthday to you.
This is what it played.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lee Harker.
Now he didn't say Lee Harker in the number.
Yeah.
It kind of like during that it kind of like fuzzed out and you couldn't hear a name.
What a eerie happy birthday.
Yes, because I called it not knowing. I knew what it was from. I knew it was from the movie, but I listened to it alone at about 2 a.m. in my old apartment, and I just got the hair on my arm stood up.
So, Fallout did something similar, like the show.
Yeah.
Where you could call like 155 Vault Tech.
Okay.
And when you called it, it was just screaming, and the phone just doing nah, 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 nah. That was
Really?
it. Yeah. Now, if you text it, it used to have like a little Easter egg for Fallout Day, but
I like these very inventive ways to interact and get new people engaged with, movies or whatever project it is.
Right.
Instead of just the old ways are good too. Like it's funny now that podcasts are so popular that there's not as many radio shows.
it kind of took over.
Yeah, and now we're kind of doing retro radio. Like radio's now kind of retro in a way.
Yeah, but like you're kind of mixing the two.
Yeah.
Because like I have my social media play and you have yours
Right.
on your phone going at the same time, so it's still kind of podcasted
Yeah.
out.
No, did you ever? I'm trying to think when. I know podcasting. I tried to start it, and there's a couple of episodes out there from 2006, 2007. But was there a point, especially like social media or any of this, where you're like, this is the way, this is not just a fad. This is not going away. Because I wasn't sure about with the podcast at first because it wasn't everywhere at first. And I started it, I remember honestly being in the apartment up in D.C., trying to get some of the technology we have now to barely operate then.
Yeah.
A great picture, And now it's no problem at all.
I think Joe Rogan kind of solidified other people too, but come on, let's just be honest. Joe Rogan was one of the big ones that made podcasting more worthwhile, and I think one of the things for that was his horrendously long form content. Because like most podcasts, they go about like an hour, hour 20 minutes, but he had them for like 3 to 4 hours. But I think when he started doing things that like mainstream media wasn't covering, I think that's
when it kind of blew up.
I think that helped podcasting a lot.
Because it used to just be kind of a niche thing where it would be like maybe a comedian. I would listen to a lot of talk radio when I was up in DC, and then a lot of them would say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this podcast." Bill Burr was one of them, and it just seemed like a lot of that type of thing.
Yeah. And
now it seems like they're popping up everywhere.
See, I viewed podcasts as like a nerdy thing, like before, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Same.
But like it was kind of more of a nerdy thing, like a, you'll hyperfixate on a certain thing, and you're just going to talk about Magic the Gathering,
right?
Like this is a podcast that's nothing about Magic.
Very niche topic or something,
or like this type of video game, like this is a podcast talking about The Sims only,
right?
And it's like, this is the mods I use. This is the house I built. And like, they just bring people on. So what did you do? Like, I don't know. That's what how I viewed podcasting.
Yeah.
It was very niche.
That's what me too.
And then around 2017, 2018, Joe Rogan brought on, what's his name? Area 51 guy.
Oh, the...
Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Bob Lazar on. And that's when it pulled me in.
Because Joe Rogan is the number one podcaster. We're like number 2058.
Hey. I don't even look at them numbers.
I looked like one time, and then I was like, that's not really why I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
That's not really why I'm doing the show.
I mean, I didn't do what I did for any other reason than for the experience. I always wanted to make a movie, so I did. Now I want to make a video game.
Now that you've made, and we'll wrap up here in just a moment. Now that and we could do a long format here sometime. We've done tonight, but we could do like a 4-hour show here at night.
I'm drinking on it.
We could do that. We could probably set up and do a midnight to 4 a.m. show, and then have like a call screener in here and take calls.
That could be fun.
We should probably think about doing that.
I'm drinking for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say we can do that. I'd say we definitely can do that. But now that you have made Silico Solutions, is it what you expected? Is the experience what you expected before you made it?
It humbled me. I went in just kind of like, I got this. And then day one on set, I was like, this is more intense than I thought it was going to be when you're the one calling all the shots and doing all the things.
So it really set in the first day of filming.
Yeah. Like, it set in before then,
right?
But, like, I didn't get shell-shocked where I was, like, paralyzed until the day filming happened. And then, so, the human brain's interesting. When you're under a lot of stress, you'll go into safe mode, like a computer. And then only primary functions matter. And, like, secondary things don't.
Right.
And I kind of did that mentally.
Okay.
And it got me through my first day. Okay. And then I started, like, getting my grounding and filling everything out. But, like, there was a few times. The third, fourth day of filming, I didn't think that I was going to get this done.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I was...
screwed.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how many days of filming did you have?
8.
Okay. I knew it was 7 or 8.
Yeah, I had a week and then I had to pay for my camera operators to stay an extra 2 days so they could have a day off, and I paid for that day off, and they worked the next following day.
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, because this cuts into our money that we could be doing this job over here.
Right.
And I was like, I'll pay you for it.
Right.
Because at that point, like, throw money till it fixes it. I don't care about that. I'm this deep in. I'm not gonna let like a couple $100 like ruin this project.
Yes. No, not at that point.
No.
Full steam ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I have been excited about Psycho Silico. I was when I watched it. The packaging, Tyler gave me a couple of what size posters were those? Do you know? I don't even know the size of that.
8x13s.
They're going to be displayed. I've got one of them. I wanted a back scene that it's going to be actually. With your permission, I was going to see if that could be what the audience in my movie was watching.
Absolutely, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Because I was thinking, if I have the poster there, why don't that just be the audience watching that particular movie?
I'm totally cool with that.
So yeah, I meant to ask you that when we met a few weeks. When was that we met? Was that just a few weeks ago? Was it
months ago?
But
was it really?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. It is time.
It makes no sense. It's all about how you perceive it. So here's a fun thought. This is a fun thought experiment. So like time goes as fast as the things around you. Right. So the more things happening around you, the faster time goes. Yep. We have that phone. That phone speeds time up because you can see what's going on around the world 24/7 at any time.
Yep.
So if you start pulling that back, will it start slowing time back for yourself?
Right.
Because it's how we perceive it. So that's an experiment that I'm going to try.
It's a good one to try because one of the most valuable currencies that we have is time.
Oh, dude.
We can never.
Yeah, you can't get it back. It's gone. It's spent.
How long was it before you actually? It took me a while. Like I knew it, but I didn't live by that rule. Not really a rule, but I didn't really realize what it meant.
June 28th, 2019. That was the day.
Really?
That's the day I was like, oh, time matters now. So that's when I started paying more attention to things like that and how you spend your time.
Yep.
And like, I won't do a mediocre job. Like it has to be a job that I think is fun
and worth your time.
Yeah, it has to be fun. If it ain't, I'm here for as long as it's fun. The moment it ain't fun, I'm out.
Yep, I understand. Well, Tyler Payne, it's been a fun show tonight. Thank you for coming in. And if anyone wants to check out this episode or many others, you can do it on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, The Other People's Show. And you can catch Tyler on his social medias.
At Psycho Silico on, mainly TikTok now. That's the only one I'm focusing on.
Okay, so Psycho Silico on TikTok. And how often do you go live on there? Weekly?
I try to do twice a week.
So twice? Any certain days?
Nope, it's random.
Okay, so
you can't let the trolls know. It's just you hit them randomly.
Do you still have the trolls come on occasionally?
Oh, all the time. I love them.
Okay, they make it.
They keep it interesting.
Yeah,
They keep it interesting.
Tyler, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Have a good night, everyone.